Hi, I'm Christina Heideck with PTO Answers, and today I want to talk to you about some tools that are really going to instantly transform your PTA or PTO, and I can say this confidently without exaggerating, just because these are really powerful tools, and I just want to make sure you know about them. So we're going to go through some of them and highlight them. But first, I kind of want to talk to you about why you got started as a leader. So you signed up to be a leader because you wanted to make a difference in your children's lives at school. You recognized, just like I did, that happy kids come from having happy teachers, happy principals. That in turn leads to happy parents. So as much as you're doing this because you love your kids and you love your school community, ultimately, part of you is doing this so that you can improve your life and you can be happier knowing that your kids are happier. There's nothing wrong with that, but when so many of the issues that crop up that we have to encounter and learn to deal with as PTO leaders, sometimes it can make it kind of hard to figure out how to deal with stuff, because the negatives of being a leader can sometimes really interfere or help us kind of lose track of our ultimate why. So let me tell you. So I told you what you signed up for. One, you probably wanted to make some friends, just like me. When I started in my PTA, I had very few friends with school-age children. So didn't really know very many people at the school. And I thought, oh, this is like a fast track way to get some buds to hang out with. Because, I was a practicing attorney before I had kids. And so wasn't practicing anymore, wasn't in the workplace. And so I needed some companionship, to be quite honest, during the day. And so I thought, well, I've always liked volunteering, so we can go ahead and do this. But so when I agreed to step up as a leader in my group, I really didn't expect some of the stuff that was going to come next. I didn't expect the disorganization. I kind of thought I was signing on to an organized group. And I'm not saying that my group was a hot mess, but I'm just saying a lot of times this is what people will encounter. They'll encounter a group that is not as organized as they thought it would be, or that they hoped it would be, that there's some drama because of the disorganization or the miscommunications that happen when you're not organized. You encounter way more work than you thought you were signing up for. Even if you were signing up as president or stepping forward as president and agreeing to take on that role, pretty sure that you weren't expecting it to be a full-time job, right? But a lot of times that's what it turns into, and it also involves constant juggling of different responsibilities, and also can be really frustrating because people keep coming to you expecting you to know the answers, and when you don't know the answer, which I might add is totally fine, you're not expected to know any of this stuff, but it can kind of make you not feel very great, right? You can maybe get stuck feeling like you're not doing a good job because you don't know the answer instantly. That's a whole separate issue. We'll talk about that another time, about how that's wrong. But one of the reasons that can happen is when you are kind of stuck making things up on your own, or you don't feel like you have the resources that you can depend on to get your questions answered quickly, and from someone who has someone who you have confidence in that knows what they're talking about, right? Because of course you just don't want to be taking anybody's advice. You want someone who's been there, done that, to hopefully save you some of the trouble. And so, you can really get exhausted when you're constantly being confronted with those questions, because it can feel kind of very never-ending and very defeated. But there's really two ways that you can learn how to become a better leader. One, you can do years and years of on-the-job training and hope that you get there. Or two, you can short-circuit the process and use tools and resources that have been developed by someone who's been there. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today, because that's the whole reason why PTO Answers started. When I started as a leader, I just wasn't seeing the type of resources out there to make my job easier. And I found that I was having to reinvent the wheel each time. And by reinvent the wheel, none of this is like revolutionary. I kind of expected these resources to be available far and wide, and I was really shocked to find that they weren't there and that I was having to make so many of these things up from scratch. And so I started PTO Answers because I wanted to save other people time. I wanted to save them the trouble of having to go through all the years of learning and experience that I had and give them everything just kind of all balled up into like one great resource, or what if they were just looking for one thing, or if you're a PTA or PTO who needs a lot of help, then give them that whole kind of like all of those resources at once, because it can be so time consuming to look for the answers. And then I don't know if you've ever gone down like the rabbit hole of internet research on things. So where you think you're kind of getting there, but you're not exactly sure. But anyway, told you before, that's why I started. Legit, that's why I started. And I've been a PTA volunteer now for 11 years. So I have a lot of experience, and I've been in multiple groups, different size groups that are experiencing different issues. So I've been there, and so that's why I think you come and you watch my videos. And so that's why I hope you'll trust that when I talk about resources and tools that you need to be using, you'll go ahead and use them. So today I want to talk to you about, and it's very poorly named, but the Complete Planning and Organizing Collection. The reason I put together this group of 20 different resources is because y'all were asking for it. So PTO Answers has been around for, I think it'll be 4 years in December. But when I first started, the very first thing I created was a President's Planner. Called it the President's Planner. Now it's the President's Success Kit, because I want to show you what you get. You will feel like a success. You will be a success with the tools that are in that resource. But then everything else came as a result of you guys asking for it. Maybe not directly, sometimes directly, but sometimes I just kept seeing like the same issues come up. And so I created resources to help you along with those. So what the Complete Collection gives you is pretty much instant access to a whole bunch of different systems and organizing methods and strategies and ideas about how to run your group. And so this resource bundle wasn't even available until I think last year, because someone goes, look, Christina, I just want it all. I don't want to have to sift through your different resources to see if it's something I want. I just want it all. And so I said, fine, I'll bundle it together. So let me tell you kind of the different resources that are inside. So one, if your group is struggling with membership, then there are I can think of at least 3 separate resources in the bundle that will directly help you grow parent involvement and get more volunteers and leaders signed up to lead your group. In fact, one of the latest resources that I just added to the Complete Collection was the 7 Steps to Boost Parent Involvement. That is a 2-hour masterclass. So it's a pre-recorded video class along with a workbook. And there's even a Facebook group that's there to get all of your questions answered, a private Facebook group separate from the PTA PTO Superstar Leader group. But that came because I kept hearing time and time again that groups were having trouble not only attracting volunteers, but they were dealing with officer elections where there was nobody interested. So there were tons of openings, and it was the same very small, very few amount of people who were actually doing the work. And so that class is actually really good. And it's like an undiscovered gem, but that is inside the group. There's also resources to help you run more effective fundraisers, because the best fundraiser is the one that you only have to run one time. That allows you to skip over having to run a spring fundraiser because your fall fundraiser didn't really do what you needed it to. So there is the fabulous fundraising guide inside the kit, which gives you a 6-month timeline for running the very best fundraisers that you can possibly run, because you really want to be fundraising the right way, and the right way is less, actually. For room parents, how many of you guys have room parents who organize class parties? Maybe not this year, but at a normal year, or organizing class parties, but they're really not involved with PTA. This, the Room Parent Starter Kit will give you a guide to how to like harness that. It's usually like a school run program, sometimes not even a PTA or PTO run program, but it'll show you how to implement simple tweaks so that you can turn those classroom volunteers who maybe don't want to volunteer for PTA stuff or PTO stuff, but they definitely want to make those classroom parties fun, how you can turn them into ambassadors for your group really easily. And it's so like, I don't know, it's just a really great idea. Next, I heard from you leaders that you did not want to deal with the hassle of updating or even creating your bylaws and standing rules. So inside the complete collection, there is a comprehensive kit that will walk you through the entire process. And I know I've talked about this specific resource a couple times before, but I'm going to mention it again because it's really good and it'll just make your process so much easier. If you were a president, you will absolutely love the President Success Kit. This resource is in absolutely like hundreds, and I mean hundreds of presidents' hands. People love this kit. People have come back and bought the kit a second year, even though you don't necessarily need to do that. But they loved it so much, they came back and got it again. So inside the President Success Kit, you'll get monthly guidance that I don't really give out anywhere else, but it tells you like month by month kind of what you should be doing. And there's over 160 pages of absolute like goodness that will help you with pre-done forms so that you're not wasting time in front of the computer formatting things. You can just print and go. Inside the complete collection, there's also officer kits for pretty much every single one of your officers, so that, and I designed these not because I don't think you guys can do this yourself, but I think it makes it a lot easier if you have a predefined binder that is ready to go. So what the officer kits that have the printable divider forms, they give you everything to set up an organized binder so that it makes officer transition so much easier. So they come with like a pretty cover, pretty spine label, pretty back cover, as well as the binder like divider pages so that you can incorporate your own school's information that you already have quickly in there. But it's just a really nice way to give every single person in your group an organized binder and ready to go. So I know one person who recently bought the complete collection was going through right now and setting up binders for like everybody. Like she was setting up the secretary binder, she was setting up the family events binder, all of those, so that she could hand them off as a resource to her fellow volunteers. And the last big part that's involved in the complete collection are treasurer resources. And so my favorite one, also another unsung hero, but literally hundreds of people are using, hundreds of groups are using the Treasurer's Finance Manager. This allows you to ditch expensive and unnecessary financial management software like Quicken or many of the other ones that are over $100 a year to use. You don't need that. You don't need all the fanciness. The Treasurer's Finance will give you everything you need. And the best part is you pay one time and you get access to lifetime updates. And then there's also a treasurer's planner included in the complete collection. And that has all of the forms and systems your treasurer will need so that she won't want to quit after 1 week on the job. Because being treasurer is something I will never be able to do because I really stink at math, but I would also not want to do it because of the workload. Like next to president, I really think that's the most time-consuming job. And so if you are not like loving on your treasurer and telling her how much she's awesome and that, you really need to start doing that because she is doing a lot. The systems that are included in the treasurer's planner will make her life so much easier because it'll save her hours of time for having to track down receipts, when chairs pay for things but don't hand in the receipts. She's going to need the receipts or y'all are going to get dinged in your audit, and it just causes a lot of problems. So there's all the forms she's going to need are right in that planner. And basically, the reason I'm telling you all this is because I give you a lot of information in my videos. And so if you like my videos, you are going to love these resources even more. So if you think that I go in depth in my videos, maybe not each individual one, but if you look at, if you go to the YouTube channel, it's much easier to see where, like how many videos I have on every topic. But I do pretty much a deep dive into the subjects and give you all the information you're going to need. But then like the resources that are in the complete collection, take it to the next level. So, because I know there's just always room to be learning and to be expanding and to be making your systems better so that you're spending less time. Because I know that sometimes in a week, I'll be like, I got nothing done, like of things that were like on my personal or my like work to-do list, but I will have gotten a lot done on my PTA list, which is great, except for I'm not getting paid to be a volunteer, right? And so you really want to minimize the time that you're spending on this. And so this bundle of resources can help you get there. And the really nice thing about it is that yes, there are systems that you can apply for your group, but they're not static systems. They are not things that are super strict and that you won't be able to adapt for your group. They're really more of like a general framework that you're going to use to put in your own group's information and kind of flesh it out. So it's kind of like the resources and the systems are the skeleton, and then you go ahead and provide the skin and all of the accessories. Okay, so once you have this collection, I just want to tell you that you're going to have systems for everything. You're going to be loving everything because you're going to feel like you actually have a plan of what you're going to do next, because you will have a plan of what to do next. There are forms for everything. Like any form that I think you're going to need, I have made it. And if it's not there, you can ask me for it and I will probably make it for you and put it in, because again, that's how so many of the updates and tweaks come about. For example, the Treasurer's Finance Manager first started off, it had 0 reports, but then I had someone reach out and they're like, yo, this is awesome, but I want to be able to quickly see how much any like given fundraiser is making profit or any program is making profit. Would it be possible for you to include some kind of profit report? So I went to my developer for that and I go, hey, can you add this in? He was like, sure, no problem. Well, everybody got that update for free because I want to give you what you need to do your jobs easier. Okay. So know that you will constantly get support and constantly get what you need. So this resource collection really offers peace of mind because you're going to know that you don't have to spend hours and hours hunting down the right information. You're going to know it's right in this resource bundle and you're going to go right to it and have everything right there. So the other nice thing about this bundle is that it really eases officer transition issues, because you, like just kind of what I said at the beginning, where when you volunteer, you're not expecting to have to create a system for everything. Like you just want to get in there and do your job. Yes, you expect to have to spend some time learning how to do your job, but you're really not expecting to have to set up a system so that you're not wasting a whole bunch of time, right? Like that, I think whenever I have to like restart something from scratch and I'm like, oh my God, it would be so much easier if just they had XYZ forms, and this is like, I could see the whole process just so that I wouldn't have to waste time in endless email chains where people reply to all and you lose track of what's going on. If we just had a system, that'd be awesome. So I've taken care of that for you. But you can tell people, hey, I know maybe if you've been hesitant about stepping up, you've been a volunteer, but you didn't want to step up into an official position for whatever reason, you can say to people like, if one of the reasons that you were hesitant to step up is because you didn't feel like you were going to have resources we've changed that this year. We have this resource bundle. There is some help for you, so you feel confident that you know you have this to draw upon. That's going to be a huge selling point, because I want you to think about when you first signed up. If someone had told you that, how much faster would you have agreed to the position? And how much better would you have felt about starting your position, right? Because you wouldn't be starting at position 0. You'd be way far down the lane and already happily off and going in your position. So you will really help others to get up to speed too, which is a nice thing. And the other funny thing is that other people will notice that your positions have changed and your feelings about things have changed. So let me just tell you one story. Actually, this has happened a couple different times where people have bought either the entire complete collection or they bought an individual resource. Like I said, the most popular resource that people get is the President's Success Kit. So I think this happened 2 different times, 2 different leaders, 2 different years and everything. But they told me, they said, Christina, so I set up your system, set up all the binders, and I made copies for other officers. And the teachers who were the teacher liaisons and the principal noticed, and they're like, yo, this is your last year here. You're going to leave those binders for us, right? And so they were actually, the principals and the teachers were like, oh my God, this has been so helpful. Your year has been less chaotic. Things have been less disorganized. And they attributed it to the President's Success Kit and the other resources that I have available. So I'm not saying this to gloat or whatever. I'm just saying people really recognize that they're a game changer. So I don't think it should be, don't hesitate to invest in the tools. And I guess one thing that I've come to realize over the last couple years is that PTOs and PTAs are businesses, but they're entirely run by volunteers. And for some reason, we feel like we can't invest in tools to help make our jobs go easier. Sometimes. I know some people have that feeling. I don't know where that's coming from. I just think that's crazy pants. But yeah. So, okay. So some questions you might have. So you might think, oh, this is great, but I'm not sure I need this. I'm just going to kind of say, you might not just realize you need it yet. Again, I did not make these things up just because I just made them up out of the blue. I designed these resources to help you do your job more efficiently because people have asked for them, because I see these issues come up, because I see these questions continuously come up like, Christina, people are not coming to our meetings. They legit will not come, or they come for the first meeting and they don't come back. Well, that's how the How to Run Your Meeting guide came about. Okay. And then I had people like the treasurer's planner really came about because people are like, I have a hard time keeping track of everything. And I'm dealing with a mess, a bin of receipts that's a hot mess. And I can never find anything and I'm spending hours. Okay. So I came up with a system for that too, so that they just have printable forms. And I just talked about that. So the other thing you might be thinking is maybe you don't need the whole bundle. And that might be true. You might not need the whole bundle right now, but now is a good time to invest in the whole big bundle because I'm offering it at a special discounted price now between the end of the month. So if you enter treat at checkout, you'll save 34%, which is a big significant sale because I want to get the tools in your hands. And you might also be thinking I don't know. I don't know, Christina, because even that's a lot. But I think with the discount, it's $225 to get 20 different resources, one of which the Treasurer's Finance Manager is going to save you hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars over the next couple of years. So I really want to encourage you to check it out. And I don't offer this collection on sale regularly. It's just maybe 3 times a year. So the next time that I'm going to offer a discount on this bundle is not until probably May of 2021 at the earliest. So you might also be thinking well, Christine, we're not even going to be using this stuff right now. yeah, some of the stuff you're not going to be using right now, but now is the time because school doesn't look normal. Now is the time to learn about how to do your job. So next year you can come back like gangbusters. Because I know even though I am still pretty busy with PTA stuff, I'm not as busy as I normally would be, and I'm busy in different ways. And so it really makes it a great time to get all your ducks in a row and get new systems implemented, get everybody used to doing it. And then when you come back next fall, hopefully, fingers crossed, things will be back to normal next year, right? You really be able to hit at it like gangbusters and everything. It'll just be so much smoother for you. So the other thing that some people have been unclear about is like how to pay for the bundle. So they're like, yes, okay, I think we need these tools, but I don't have the money in my bank account to pay for this. And they mean them personally. Well, I'm going to say this is not something you should be paying for individually. This is definitely something your PTO or PTA should be paying for. So, because these are resources that your group is going to use year over year, and you really shouldn't be hesitant to invest in the tools that are going to make it easier for volunteers to stick around. Okay? If you shorten the amount of time that people have to learn how to do their job, if you give them the tools and the systems they need to do their job, they're going to stick around as volunteers for longer, which means that you'll waste way less time trying to get everybody up to speed and trying to recruit new people, and you won't be stuck doing everything yourself. So I think overall it's a really good idea to make sure that you have things that support your leaders. And so yeah. So I don't see any other questions that have popped up. If you have questions about the complete planning and organizing collection, let me know, because I want to answer them, and I want to make sure that you're going to be able to get these tools. If this is something you're interested in, I want you to get them, and I want you to get them now because they're on sale, and who doesn't love a sale, right? So I have dropped the link to the resource bundle in the description below, so go ahead and check it out there. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I will be back next week. And I forget already, because I've had an off week, I forget what I'm going to be talking about next week, but I'm really excited about them. I know one is how to avoid overwhelm, which is always a good thing to talk about, right? Because who likes to be overwhelmed? But I will be back with more topics that you can use to become a better PTO leader next week. So until then, take care. Bye-bye.